You are listening to Apex1radio. Stay with us for the best bet in the new wave of communication. Apex1radio. Get informed, enjoy, and learn.
Hello there, everyone, and welcome. This is the African Talk Maiden Edition, coming to you from Apex1radio. World politics has never been so busy as it is these days. With the coming of technology, which is now shared almost equally with hitherto considered lesser powers, having a fair share of it, activity has increased tenfold. In the developed world, just as in the developing economies, there has been a significant evolution of things. This evolution has come with its ugly branches that have been stretched to very poking extents, at times obstructing the quiet, call it peace of the world. One would have thought that by 2016, the world will be a veritable better place to live in. Rather, the sweetness of living in the world seems to have been reduced to enjoyment in the easy access to information, meanwhile trapped in quasi-discomforting insecurity. It has either been ISIS, Boko Haram, or civil wars dotted here and there. Seeking refuge to very degrading extents has become phenomenally rife. Religion has been misconstrued, and there is a near confusion that is taking center stage. In all of this, Africa is dangling, fitting in and fitting out. One would have expected that as greater powers battle for supremacy amongst themselves, Africa would be struggling to make great use of its resources to rise above these odds. This has, however, not been the case. Africa seems to have joined the race in every modern-day struggles, including the ones that are very un-African in nature and make no sense, literally speaking. Acute terrorism, beefed up by the technological development, crawled into the continent, with Boko Haram causing untold emotional suffering in Nigeria, Cameroon, and other parts of West and Central Africa. In East Africa, El Shabaab is causing havoc in Kenya. Corruption that had been accentuated by a bureaucratic system fast spread to the various cores and, till date, is still hard to be totally eradicated. Equal opportunities have been preached for decades, but as we speak, the African elitist rank still consolidates its ever-powerful status, while the rest of the masses have remained poor, at times impoverished by the very elite they labor for. Having accepted and endowed Western democracy, it is but logical that they go by the rules. But African leadership, to a greater extent, has vehemently rejected parts of this democracy just parts of it that suit them. Else, how would one imagine that their Western counterparts, even the most admired, come and go, but they have opted to be incumbents forever? Even when it has been hugely criticized, constitutional amendments to keep leaders in power has continuously waxed on. In all of this, Africa still relies on the West for a good number of things, including currency, even when most of them have virtually served very little value to the detriment of the continent's economy. With all of these, the continent has remained the richest in terms of natural resources or underground wealth. But then, why should bauxite-rich Zambia, for instance, not rise above all odds? Why should diamond-rich Sierra Leone be unable to handle a health crisis? Why should timber-rich the Democratic Republic of Congo not be stable and develop? Why should gold-rich Ghana not provide enough employment to stop its citizens from seeking greener pastures abroad? Why should oil-rich Nigeria, Libya, Cameroon, etc. still be needy? The whys shoulds are endless. However, there is always a silver lining to a dark cloud. That silver lining could just be the new strongman of Tanzania, for instance, whose example of demystifying power is a great blessing to Africa. That ministers in that country should be barred from traveling abroad and caused to work more in the hinterlands is a novelty. That a national day should be transformed into a clean-up campaign day is a significant way of cleaning consciences. And that hospital reforms should be strictly implemented is a way of telling Africa that the continent needs to be more healthy. Many more magafulis would mean a lot to the African continent. And so, these and some of other problems facing the African continent are what we shall be looking in this very maiden edition of the African Talk. And this is the African Talk on Apex1 Radio. Don't go away.
Thank you again for tuning in with Apex1 Radio. Stay with us on www.apex1radio.com. Apex1 Radio, your radio.